and we need the request here. Here we will create the orders. So first is the order that we will create. We'll create it like this. Now we need to set up all order fields. So order first name equals to request input first name, last name email, and this one is the code. We'll get the code from the request, but first we will get the link here. Link is equal to link where code equals to request input code and the first result. Then we can use here directly link code. Then we need the order user ID, which is equal to link user ID. Order influencer email is equal to link email user email. I don't know why my ID highlights these fields, but I will change this where to where code here, and I will remove this one. So now the highlights works fine. Now let's add the address. So order address equals to request input address. Same for the address too. City, country, and the zip code. We don't need to set the complete because by default it's set to 0. So now we need just to save the order. Now we need to create the order items. The request will send a list of product IDs, and those will create the order items. So we need a for each loop here. Request input products as product ID. My mistake, this should be items, not products, and this should be item here. So we need to get the product here, and the product will be product find item product ID. So we will get an array of items with the product IDs and the quantities for this product ID. Now let's create the order item. Order item equals to new order item. Order item order ID is equals to this order ID. Order item product title equals to product title. Order item price is equal to product price. Order item quantity equals to item quantity. Order item. Now we need to set the influencer revenue. This is equal to the product price times the item quantity times the percentage. So in this case is 0.1%. So this is the influencer revenue. Let's do the same for the admin revenue, and this is 90%. For now we will keep it like this, so the influencer revenue is 10% and the admin revenue is 90%. And now we have to save the order item. Now that we created order and order items, let's return the order that we created. We need also to add the route, but first we made a mistake. If we go to the order controller, we made it in the influencer folder. It should belong to the checkout folder. So now that belongs to the checkout, let's go to api.php, and here we'll add route post orders order controller store. Now let's try it on Postman. I already prepared the request. So now in the API checkout orders, I will send the code, the items, the address, the city, the country, and the zip code. Let's try it. So we are getting an error that the class does not exist. The reason is, let's go to the order controller, is because of the namespace here. It should be checkout. Try it again. Now we have another error, and this is a MySQL error. It seems I forgot to add some fields. I forgot to add the first name, last name, and email here. First name, A, last name, A, email, a@a.com. Let's send a request. So we can see that the order is successfully created now. Still, there are more changes to be made. The first change that we need to make is to add a transaction. This order and the order items need both of them to be inserted in the database, or none of them. In case we have an error in the order items here, it will throw an exception, but the order itself here, it will be inserted in the database. To prevent that, we have to use db begin transaction. And in the end, we'll do a db commit. This means that if we go to this commit in the end here, it means that all these order and order items will be inserted in the database. If we get an error, none of this data will be in the database. Now we are ready to use Stripe for our checkout. So when we complete an order, we have to send the amount that we just purchased to our Stripe account. So this is my Stripe account, and I now have a test publishable key and a test secret key here. So I'm using test data. If you need these accesses, you need to create also an account via Stripe, and you have to check the test data to get these keys. You should copy these keys and paste it to our env file. So I pasted my public and secret key here. Now that I got the keys, we need to install this package, Stripe by Catalyst. let's go down and let's copy this part and open the terminal. Now write composer require let's wait till it's completed. The package now is installed. We still have one more migration to make. PHP artisan make migration, add transaction ID to orders table. Once we make a Stripe transaction, we need to store that in the orders table. So let's go to the add transaction ID to orders table, and here we'll add table string transaction ID, and here we will drop it. This column should be also nullable. Let's migrate and run PHP artisan IDE models. Here at the order controller now we have to use Stripe. So Stripe equals Stripe make. We need the API key here, so we will use the environment function and Stripe secret here. So in our env file we have the Stripe secret here. Now we have to create a source which is equal to Stripe checkout. This will highlight wrong here, but this is the correct way of using it. Sessions create, and we need some parameters here. The first one is the payment method types. So in our case we want a credit card. The second parameter are the items that the user will purchase. So for now I will make them an empty array, but I will change them. And then we need a success URL and a cancel URL. So for the success and the cancel URL, we need also to add a new environment key, which is a checkout URL, which is equal to HTTP localhost 4300 in my case. This may be a different port for you. Now in our success URL we'll use the environment variable for our checkout URL. We'll concatenate it with /success, and I will add a query string parameter, which is the source equals checkout session ID. Stripe knows about this checkout session ID, and it will return the right session ID. But this is a front-end thing, so we don't need to care for now. Let's copy this line and paste it here, and the cancel URL will redirect to checkout URL error. Now we need to set the line items. So the line items are basically the products that we are inserting in the order items. So I will